Now, I know by nature you're a frog guy, both in scent and in preference.
Yeah, mommy.
But I think you and I both share a love for turtles, namely of the Teenage Mutant variety, specifically if they're ninjas.
Yeah.
Yay or nay?
Yeah, I agree. Though I'm also a fan of regular turtles.
Well, yeah, that too. That's a given.
Yeah.
Even though you dry them in the sun.
God damn it!
But anyway, that's another story for another video on another channel. The point is, turtles, ninja ones, teenage and mutant, sold. That's what America's kids said when they heard that shit.
That's true.
Right? I mean, shit. Was there a kid in sight that didn't want to suck off a turtle the moment this shit happened?
Yeah, that's weird.
It was a pervasive phenomenon. It remains a pervasive phenomenon. Maybe not to the heights of the late 80s, early 90s. But, you know, I mean, it's still a lucrative fucking franchise, man. People still go ballistic over it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we're getting a 1 millionth remake.
Despite the efforts to kill it constantly.
Yeah, it survives.
Yeah.
So.
Unlike a turtle in my care.
Damn, you killing turtles for real, dude.
No.
Anyway, we're killing more turtles than Ruggiero Deodato. He loves to kill turtles.
I feel like the
horrible ways.
The crossover to people who like Ninja Turtles and who know who that is so low.
Yeah, but that's our thing.
That's a good
references that nobody cares and or knows.
True.
About. Anyway, everybody does know about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that's what we're talking about, specifically part 1, because part 2 is not good, and part 3 can suck a mean log. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking mierda, dude. Part 3 is. So we're not going to talk about 2 or 3 because, you know, it's a waste of time, really. There's not enough in part 2 to make it worth even giving a shit about. I know some people like it. I know some people have nostalgia for it. Well, I took that nostalgia, which was barely there, slam dunked that shit like fucking Jordan into the trash.
It has vanilla ice in it. That's all.
Yeah, vanilla ice. I mean, what really? We want to preserve that?
Nah, homie.
We don't. But we do want to preserve the first one, man, which is just gonna go ahead and say it here. I know this is it's a controversial statement.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be in my favorite comic adaptations ever, man.
Damn, homie.
I don't know.
I gotta say, I was a little worried on this review.
Mm-hmm.
Because the entire time we were watching it, all I could feel was hatred coming from your side.
Nah, it was the hatred you were feeling coming from me was like, why is this guy just moving all the time?
Oh, hey, move!
And all I was hearing from your side was,
dude, I don't know what the hell you're freaking looking at, but
I was like, I wasn't looking, I was hearing.
I never did that.
What is this, man?
I blew on my glasses occasionally because they were fogging up because it's so humid here.
24/7, blowing
like
on glasses.
Once.
Anyway, that's what you were probably feeling. But no, I mean, I was just watching the fucking movie, man. I'm like you. I don't go.
I felt like pure.
Whenever I fucking watch something,
I felt like pure hate, homie.
I think your tendency to hate is translating over to me, or you're projecting your hate on me.
I don't hate. What's your obsession with saying I hate?
That's the feeling I get most of the time. Like, oh, I'm gonna show him this cool movie, see what he thinks, and then the whole time I look over, you're like this. I never cross my arms because I'm literally fat. I'm saying, like metaphorically speaking, that's what you're doing.
But what's with the face? What did I do to the face?
That's your hate face. But anyway,
damn, homie.
I was not hating. No, man. I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, it's stood the test of time as not only an adaptation, but as a movie in general. It's a unique movie if you really think about it. First of all, this movie was an independent production. A lot of people don't realize that. They think, oh, New Line Cinema produces. Nah, homie. New Line didn't produce this. It was an independent production. In fact, for a while, it was like one of the most, if not the most successful independent production of all time until something else along the way beat it. But, yeah, man, this was an indie production, which is probably why they got away with so many of the darker thematics in the movie.
And kids smoking.
Yeah, which immediately vanished the moment the second one came out of the woodworks, because that one did have a production company behind it. Excuse me. A significant pull. So, yeah, man, a lot of people don't realize that, but that's part of the reason. The other part, of course, has to do with the creative team, the writers and the director, which, you know, did a really good job of wrangling the best parts of the comic book series, which of course is like a darker, kind of parodical version of these darker comics of the time. And what was the Turtles phenomenon? It's somehow they bridge both sides of the turtle phenomenon with this movie, so it feels right for both audiences. I will say it's way closer to the comics. Some of the stuff is pulled right out of the comics. They cherry picked cool shit from the comics and kind of put it into this movie more than anything in the cartoon. But I think the soul of the characters is where the cartoon lives in the movie. Even though you'll see Donatello doing machines or whatever the fuck, anything like that. The soul of the characters remains in the movie. But I don't remember at the time. Of course, you weren't born when this movie came out yet, but I was literally around 8 years old when this came out, or 7, I think. And I was in the midst of Turtle Mania, man, and this thing came out. I don't remember one damn person not being satisfied by this movie. Like there was this whole wave of concern with parents about the effects of this violent turtle craze, much more so with the movie. And I know that when it came to the studio and all that stuff, there was all concerns about that too. Like the potential negative effects on the box office. But I mean, fuck, man, people shelled out the cash.
Oh
no, don't do that. They really put the cash down for this fucking movie, man, and it just goes to show what quality will do. I mean, I don't think there was any. If there was, well, then shit on them. But I don't think there was anybody going out and pretending to be a turtle and punching people in the fucking face, or nunchucking. Well, there was a little nunchuck craze. I'll give them that much, but overt fucking violence, there was none of that. There was just people. This is a movie with some morals in it. I mean, kids aren't that dumb. You know what I'm saying? Which seems to be a thing with parents, just assuming kids are complete, utter tards that are going to do everything exactly that's in the movie the way it's done in the movie. Yeah, okay, you're going to have a few that are stupid as fuck, but the majority of people know what's going on. And this movie didn't talk down to kids, which, is going to give it its timeliness beyond the age gap. And it's also, if you're an adult, that's going to go in there like Goontig, crossing his arms and frowning before anything even hits the screen. It's gonna entertain, man. It's got something for everyone. Tell me what you think about this movie, man.
I feel like personally attacked in this video. Like, what the hell, man? Shit. I feel like even though I wasn't around during Turtle Mania, and realistically though, I like the idea of turtles. I never really taken the deep dive into the turtle world. I feel that if I was like a mad kid back then, my asshole would have been blown. Wait. That would have been that's another place. My wig would have been blown to the floor if I had seen these turtles in live action for the first time, because when I saw it this time I was like, damn, I can imagine being a kid back then and seeing that shit in live action, because they are really impressive.
I agree, man. And I mean, that a lot of that has to do with the fact that one of the most respected effect shops in Hollywood, especially at the time, given their recent work with like Dark Crystal and Labyrinth and all that stuff. The Muppets, I guess you want to throw that in there. Jim Henson, what is it? A workshop. We're behind the effects here, and I don't know, man. If this is not their best work, it's close to it, because previous work wasn't exactly what you would call realistic, more in the fantastical realm. And though the Ninja Turtles are a fantastical thing, they managed to create a look that was plausible. I mean, as plausible as Ninja Turtles can get. It's hard to explain, but if you've seen it, you know what I mean. They feel real. They feel like they belong in the world that is in the film, which is just a facsimile of ours. So yeah, fucking impressive effect.
And it's interesting how, like, without going crazy like the freaking Babe Turtle films, there's so much like character in their designs, but it's so subtle, you know. Like each of them has a different head shape.
Yeah.
But it's not like super freaking ludicrous like in the Bay films.
Except for Donatello's massive chin.
What was that?
I never noticed that until this go round.
This homie had too much chin.
That motherfucker had a freaking... He could be Lockjaw in a He-Man movie.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm sorry, Trapjaw, not Lockjaw.
Lockjaw, damn.
Yeah, dude, that sucker has a big-ass chin. Maybe they looked at Corey Feldman and were like, damn, homie.
Does he have a big chin?
Yeah, he's got a big-ass jaw, I should say.
Oh, yeah.
Corey does. And no talent when it comes to singing.
That's a good point.
Really, he's got no talent other than being Corey.
I mean, back in the day, he was good.
Yeah, but he was just basically Corey Feldman and everything.
You're right.
That was his talent, being Corey Feldman. And then he grew, and everybody was like...
And it wasn't cool to be
Corey.
Corey.
Feldman's not cool. Yeah. So, yeah, that explains Corey Feldman. Side note. But anyway...
But, like little subtle things, like, you know, their head shapes. Michelangelo has bigger brows. Yeah. You know? But it's just kind of cool that they put so much character into their head, into their faces.
Yeah.
Without having, like, all these gizmos and doodads.
I mean, technically, they did have gizmos and doodads.
Well,
literally gizmos and doodads inside the head.
That's a good point. Damn, that too. Like, these are basically puppet heads. I do think sometimes the puppetry is a little weird, especially with Donatello.
Well, see, it's kind of like it's a thin line to walk, because you could speed up the servos in the mouth to make it match a little bit more, but then the results are that frantic yapping from the third movie, which is like
yeah. You know? I think ultimately it doesn't bother me or anything, and it looks pretty good for the most part. I think the one where it looks the worst is with Donatello, because he's got the bigger chin, so you can see the seams more. You know, and then it seems like the mouth freaks out a lot more. Like his lip is kind of doing this weird thing occasionally. But it's still a very impressive effect.
I think they were just imitating Corey Feldman, dude.
They're like, oh, he does have kind of like an upper lip thing, huh?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Damn,
it's moving like Corey Feldman's fucking gross-ass lips. Anyway, we're the only ones that think his lips are gross. Remember, girls were all over that Feld fold?
That's true.
But anyway, Corey Feldman's Donatello. That's a thing you have to get over.
Just say like he's bad. He's fine.
No, yeah, he's all right. You know, I mean, it annoys me now because, you know, he's Corey Feldman. But back then, of course, I was like, hell yeah, he's Corey Feldman.
Donatello was your boy, dude.
Donatello was my boy in the cartoon. In the fucking comics and the movie, it's Raph. You know, it's clearly the best one.
Yeah.
But in the cartoon, it was Donatello.
I gotta say,
but here's a hot take. I hate the cartoon, really.
Yeah, even though you were in Turtle Mania.
Yeah.
That thing went downhill pretty quick.
No, I'd be lying to you if I said that the first thing I read was the comics. I mean, that's not true. I wish it was. But, you know, like most people in the fucking world,
Turtles.
It was the Ninja Turtles cartoon. So, you know, it's a cartoon that, I'll be honest with you, you grow out of pretty fast because it's stupid. It's a dumb fucking cartoon. It's fucking retarded, to be honest with you.
Homie.
But, I mean, when you're a kid, you don't really give a shit most of the time. So, whatever, right? It got me into the craze. And the movie was probably the second thing I saw. In fact, it was the second thing I saw. And it made me realize, wait a minute, hold on, man. Turtles can be way cooler than they are. I think the movie's what killed my Turtle Mania for the cartoon, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Because
I was like, that sucks compared to the fucking movie.
That's true.
So when I was waiting for part 2, I was super excited. And lo and behold, they try to make it more like a cartoon, and that sucked mega dicks. So it was a wave of disappointment for me. But then after that, I discovered the comics, and I was like, oh, there we go. And of course, the 90s just garnered in a whole era of turtledom.
Yeah, turtledom being the freaking key word here, because there was a lot of crappy stuff in the 90s.
But there was a lot of stuff. You know, it was a wave of turtle shit. Some good, some bad. I mean, it's up to you what you're gonna fucking see. But there was a lot of cool stuff that you could definitely indulge in, which was more in line with the movie, I guess, than anything. Unless you're gonna go with shit like the next mutation, which why would you? But
because Venus.
No, gross. Anyway, give me something, man, good or bad about this movie. You loving on that grody looking Sam Rockwell?
Who the hell's Sam Rockwell?
Who the hell's Sam Rockwell? You know who Sam Rockwell is?
I don't know who Sam Rockwell is.
How do you know who Sam Rockwell is?
I'm not good with names.
Your boy in Iron Man 2.
My boy?
Yeah, Hammer.
Oh, him? Why did you bring that up?
Because he's in the fucking Turtles, you fool.
He is? Who is he?
He's that scummy looking kid that's in the fucking Foot Clan Club, I guess, whatever you want to call it.
Oh,
yeah? Yeah, with a little beard.
I didn't know
Or
that.
not beard, but a little scruff on his face.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, look at him. It's just Sam Rockwell. Oldest looking kid in the room.
I don't freaking keep up with Sam Rockwell. How would I know who he is?
Oh, you're the one sucking him off 24/7.
Am I?
Yeah, hell yeah. Get him rock hard and do him well.
Dude.
Anyway,
going back to... I just want to finish my previous thought because you overtook it.
Totally did.
It wasn't cool.
Trying to get you away from it.
Not only is... Damn, homie, I'm trying to bring freaking actual points up and you're like shitting on them. Not only are the suits impressive, but the suits move really well. I mean, I'm sure they're different. I'm sure they're stunt suits, but the stunt suits look really good. This was you gotta think that this was you gotta remember that this was the damn it broke there for a second.
Good one, dude.
You gotta remember this was the time where we had freaking Michael Keaton barely being able to move in a rubber suit, which was a lot less complex.
Literally
than this.
a year before this.
Yeah, so the fact that these dudes can actually move and have entire fight scenes in these suits, which I'm sure they were stunt suits, is pretty impressive.
There's also that one gruesome scene where Donatello is laughing. It's Donatello, right? Yeah, Donatello's laughing right next to April, and you see the guy's face in his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
It's disgusting. Well, not his face, like his...
It's just his mouth and his
mouth
eyes.
and his eyes somehow.
I'm assuming they were blacked out.
In a chasm of darkness.
Does that count as blackface?
Turtle blackface. But, yeah, it is impressive, man. Arguably, some of the fight sequences could be better, but they're at their best when they count the most towards the end.
Yeah.
And even the ones that aren't, older you get, the more chinks you notice in the armor. Probably a bad expression to use in a movie full of Asian Americans. Right now I realize. But you know what I mean. Yeah. Damn it. Don't take that out of context. But anyway, the older you get, the more faults you see. Yeah, there you go. I couldn't think of another phrase, damn it. But anyway, man, the more faults you see. But first, it helps that it's a movie about Ninja Turtles. Yeah. Two, there's obviously a comedic element to especially the beginning fights when they're a little bit more relaxed and there's not so much on the line. And but even then, it's very entertaining. It's entertaining stuff. So the faults are negligible at best.
Yeah. I also want to praise one thing that I think is the best thing in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my boy Splinter. My boy Splinter is like the thing holding everything together. Not only Turtles, but the film.
If he was a horse, you might say he's the glue holding it together.
Yeah, the him holding himself together. Anyway, Turtles, horses are ground up and made into glue was the joke. Damn, homie. Anyway.
Thanks for that 1930s explanation.
Is that even a thing, by the way?
Yeah, of course it is.
Are you sure?
Yeah, what do you think? That just came out of nowhere? I say thee nay, sir.
Uh-huh.
That was not a pun.
Anyway, freaking Splinter's great. I like his little voice. I really like the flashbacks. There's something cool about them, just the way they look. They're like this super grainy. They looked exactly like I remember them looking as a kid. Yeah. Sometimes you rewatch something and it's pure shit on a stick. It was actually just how I remembered them. Plus the little puppet turtles, or the little puppet Splinter, super cute. But really, he's just kind of like the coolest character in my opinion.
He's also the most expressive.
He really is.
Puppet, I guess. it is, right? It's not a person in a suit. It's a puppet.
It's
so,
a puppet.
Yeah, he's also the most expressive and kind of impressive effect in this movie. Yeah, man. I mean, what can you say? They did a lot. I mean, obviously, the older you get, the more you can see how they had to cut around the fact that it can't really move. But even then, it does nothing to affect his presence in the movie, which is pretty awesome, man. He's as impressive as he should be for a fucking old rat, you know. There's also, I think, there's Mapoi Tatsu.
Damn you!
Doesn't get enough credit.
You're Tatsite.
I never got this scene. I still don't get this scene. Maybe you get it. Maybe somebody out there gets it. Maybe I'm trying too hard to get it, and it's something simple. But there's a point where Shredder goes to basically confront the captured Splinter. You know, asking him, you know, basically what's up with these turtle fucks, right? And you know, he's being very rough with Splinter. And after he finishes asking him, he stands by Tatsu, and Tatsu doesn't even look at him. He's just kind of closing his eyes, and there's this pained look on his face. Right? And then Shredder storms away, and we stay on Tatsu, and Tatsu goes ballistic on his own Foot Clan members.
I mean, I just assumed it was like shame because he failed his master.
See, that's the logical thing, but at the same time, it's like, hold on, homie. It sounds like you're kind of sad for the fucking rat here, a little bit.
There was a little bit of, it did kind of feel like that a little.
I mean, clearly it's not, because later he's a total
he's just gonna murk him,
But I feel like there was something we missed with Tatsu there. Was he like a secret softie?
Yeah, maybe, dude.
The
but
point
then he
is,
beats up on those kids, so maybe not.
Yeah, the point is my boy Tatsu doesn't get the credit.
Tatsu's pretty cool. I'll give you credit. Tatsu's pretty rad.
I remember as a kid when Tatsu was on the screen, when I first saw this movie, I was kind of like, dude, show me somebody else besides this guy. Damn, I hate him. It was taking time away from other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But then later, as I grew into the movie more, I was like, damn, Tatsu's my boy, though.
NECA gotta make that Tatsu figure so no one can find it.
Yeah, no shit, man. NECA, what are you doing? Anyway, they did make that Casey Jones figure, and that's my other boy in this movie. I was a big Casey Jones night.
Yeah, you were.
You know, we got your rough and gruff vigilante type, and Elias Koteas is playing him here. Which, by the way, I gotta say, he would be a great candidate to play a younger Robert De Niro. So that's what they should have probably done with The Irishman instead of, you know,
damn, homie,
CGI'd
De
Niro's
face,
Frankenstein boots out of a scene.
Damn, dude, all the money went to that.
But anyway, he's pretty much that like affable badass in this movie, and it's a fucking shame that they didn't bring him back for any of the sequels. Now I know what you're thinking. Yeah. He's in part 3, you idiot.
But he's not.
He might as well not be, because. You know, first of all, that's how you use him, and second, it's part 3. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's not in part 3 in my fucking eyes. But yeah, it's a waste of time that they didn't bring him back for any of the other ones. But then again, you know, they were shit. Speaking of shit, April here is awesome.
Yeah. And
April in the other movie sucks hard. Penises, not in the good way. Yeah, Judith Hogue should have been April across the board. I don't remember why she didn't come back.
Probably because it sucked.
But no, there was a specific reason. I seem to recall her kind of being like, you know, having no desire to come back. But you know, far be it for me to research. The point is, she's a great character that's not just a damsel in distress, as you know is usually the case, and you know. It's just something that you appreciate the more you see the fucking series depreciate.
Yeah, I think it's also good that there was no there wasn't any kind of disturbing sexual tension between her and the turtles.
I mean, Mikey totally wanted to fucking fuck her.
He did, but it was like a playful, like I want to.
Nah, he wanted bone.
Damn,
hardcore,
homie.
Man. That's hot all the time.
That's 10-inch.
But I will say that it was, like you say, it was more playful than, say, the weird, obvious sex innuendo in fucking the Bay ones.
Yeah, where you're like, oh, what is
dude,
this?
Clearly, Michael Bay wants to see him bone.
Yeah, he directed that porno parody with Sphincter. I think another thing to be praised is
that?
I was joking. It was just the way things are shot at certain points. You know, obviously they knew that there was limitations to the suits.
Mm-hmm.
There's a humongous seam on their turtleneck, and a lot of the times they use the shadows in very, specific ways to shoot around that. But I'm talking more. There's certain shots that are really nice, like when Shredder comes in, and it's this kind of like sweeping.
That's the second time he comes in.
Well, I didn't say the first time. I said when Shredder comes in.
I mean, he could come into any room. He comes in a lot of times.
It doesn't matter. Why? God damn it! When he comes in, it's like this kind of sweeping shot from above. The shadow on the floor, and it leads up to him just looking at the camera and it being cool. It's a lot of cool little shots like that.
The first time he comes in is pretty good too. I'm just saying, man. It's a good shot. You don't like him staring at a bunch of fucking TVs and shit?
No, that was pretty cool too.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah. The director has a good eye. Had in this particular occasion, really good eye for a lot of stuff. The seams on the fucking turtle heads, I mean, they're turtles, so they got wrinkly ass necks.
Yeah.
So that helps.
Although I will say, Jem Mance would have been going crazy with this shit. Like, the seam though.
The seams. But I gotta agree with man. The color palette is not bright as you would expect from seeing the cartoon. It's very dark tones, muted at times. And that lends to that kind of gritty, dirty, distinctly New York feeling that movies in the 70s and 80s had. Mm-hmm. Which is cool because that's exactly the New York that they're depicting in the movie. The one that's still steeped in violence and depravity and, is on the edge of, the Wild West of crime, if you will. So that's cool, man, because at one point, that stopped being credible or even achievable in movies.
Yeah,
that's kind of weird, man. There's distinctly a feeling that was only brought to life at a certain point in time. I'm kind of loath to think of another movie that did it after a certain point, but I'm sure there is. But it has that This movie has that particularly grimy feel to it, which is super cool. And another thing that I gotta admire about it, I think you'll agree with this, is that the movie's not. It's not dated by its looks. Yeah, you get the April has that kind of 90s hair, but it's not horribly dated, what I'm saying? You don't have an excess of fashions that would
which is interesting
drag it down.
Because there's some characters that could have easily done that, like April, even Casey. Mm-hmm. His cartoon look is super 80s. But yeah, they look fine in the movie and they look believable in that world. I gotta even shout out my boy Shredder for wearing them 80s lady shoulder pads. But he looks cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Shredder looks fucking badass, and I love the dub work they do. Usually of course it's prominent in martial arts movies for some fucked reason. We know why, but still, it's kind of fucked, Hey, let's just dub everybody because, nobody's going to understand them is the logic behind that, right? But I love the dub work for the Shredder and Splinter. Yeah. I think
Tatsu apparently was also
and Tatsu, yeah. It's pretty badass. Whoever they got to dub these people, they did such a good job that I don't want to ever hear the real voices for some fucking reason.
Especially like I said before, freaking Splinter's really good, just in his delivery and the way he says. Obviously that's delivery, but you know what I mean. The way he says certain things really makes you believe what he's saying.
There's a heft to the timbre of their voices, especially Splinter and Shredder. That's pretty awesome. It lends to the atmosphere around them, the mystique around them. And that's one of the most important parts about this movie that, unlike Part 2, kept the Shredder's mystique through and through. He's barely on the screen if you really think about it. But when he is, and even when he isn't, he's a presence. He's a fearsome foe. He's somebody that you detest, and yet when you look at him, you're like, that's kind of badass. And you saw how that went down the tubes real quick in the second one. He was just this thing that was there and was like, oh, this guy's not cool at all. So, missed that. Anything you want to add?
I feel like this is I don't know.
Good one.
Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought and I tried to save it and I failed again. No, this is just a really cool movie. I think it's good that they didn't go freaking super cartoony. This was after the cartoon started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's shocking that happened. That really, back then, but it's good.
I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that this thing was independent. For some reason, as far as accounts of it go, they gave the guy, Steve Barron, carte blanche to do as he pleased. Somehow.
Yeah, that's so weird.
That's so rare and unheard of, especially, when toys are at stake. But fuck, man. It's a good fucking, that's the thing, it's a good movie. It's crazy to think that a movie about Ninja Turtles can be good, just in concept, Ninja Turtles good. It shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But it's a legitimately good movie. It's a legitimately good succinct telling of the important elements of the turtle story. It creates its own image, It reminds me, in a lot of ways of what Batman the Animated Series did for Batman. Once Batman the Animated Series came out, that's kind of what a lot of people thought as the definitive version of Batman. It kind of reset the needle on the record. And I think that movie did that for the Turtles. It made people go, this is a really cool fucking version of the Turtles.
Yeah.
And then, as far as movies go, they never did it again. And everybody was like, I don't want to see that anymore. That sucks. The steam was going to run out of the franchise eventually, obviously. But, go figure, right? Or really not go figure. They just wanted more money and they went for something lighter.
Yeah.
But the solution was there. Everybody liked the first one. I mean, critics didn't, but the box office said different, The box office said fans like this, people like this.
And that's the thing, like, people still talking about this movie,
Yeah.
But to this day, people bring up the second one, but it's more like, yeah, it kind of sucks, but I like it. This one, everybody's like, dude, this is pretty rad.
Yeah.
And sometimes you shouldn't listen to that. Sometimes you get a really shitty Batman movie that everybody loves, and you're like, really, dude? But sometimes people are right.
Yeah.
And I think this one, people are right. It's freaking cool.
Yeah, I think objectively speaking, the movie has way more strengths than it has weaknesses. Period. Storytelling wise, technically, etc. Has a lot of memorable stuff that transcends just people's nostalgia, which there you go. And of course, we're ones to immediately get the fuck away from nostalgia. We've done it several times here with a variety of movies that we used to love, but then we saw them again and it's like, this is fucking shit. We have no problem throwing a movie we loved in the trash. And I'm glad to say that this is a movie that, as always, just remains as cool as it always was. You know what I'm saying? It's just an awesome, great time every time. So, without further ado, let's give this a rating. First, let's give it a rating on the comic adaptation or just adaptation level, and then on the just normal movie level. And
I'll give it a solid. I feel like there's been a lot of great comic films recently, but that's no reason to shit on this either. So I'll give it a solid. I'll give it a 7.5. No, I'll give it an 8. I'll get an 8.5.
All right, a little indecisive there, but okay.
I know. I feel like I was thinking too much about it and I didn't go with my gut, So I'm gonna go with my gut and just give it an 8.5. Spreader alone, Spreader and Sphincter are really, really good characters.
Damn, Donatello, though.
Donatello, dude, his big ass chin. Raphaelis, he's pretty cool.
Leon Hardo is pretty rad.
Casey Bones, he's pretty cool. They're all. Splinter, I gotta freaking say, Splinter's my boy, and there is kind of like a really sweet story with him,
Yeah.
Which is why I say he's kind of the thing that holds everything together. So yeah, he's a really strong dude. I'll give him an 8. That's what he gets.
Why does he get a rating?
So yeah, I'll give it an 8.5 on the movie scale, on the comic movie scale, on the overall movie scale. It's got to go down because there's some classics out there. So I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, I'll second that notion across the board. This is a strong adaptation. Again, like I say, I mean, this is a good, like, Reader's Digest version of everything that's essential in the Turtles, in knowing about the Turtles. This is a good way to get anybody that's somehow not heard of the Turtles. If they want to be introduced to it, just show them this fucking movie, and there you go. They're caught up. You know what I'm saying? So that says a lot. Tonally, it makes something as ludicrous as a fucking Turtles performing martial arts believable, oddly enough. It's fun. It can be lighthearted when it wants to be, and it could have a legitimate heart when it wants to. And it can have atmosphere and menace as well. So yeah, it's a strong adaptation of an intellectual property that has a lot of iterations to choose from. You know what I'm saying? By now, there's like 10 million versions of the Turtles you can choose from. And this will always be, personally, my go-to for a version that you could just sit down and succinctly consume what the Turtles mean. Boom, this movie right there. On the regular movie scale, yeah, I mean, you got to drop it down because, I mean, it's not going to be competing against classics like fucking Taxi Driver and shit. But it's still a fucking fun time. So I'll give it a 7, man, just because it's just an enjoyable motherfucking flick. So there you go. What do you think about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Let us know in the comments down below. In the meantime, hit like, share, subscribe, and those notification buttons because we're out.